Boinky struck the ground, and the neon terrain rippled with light. He rose, hung in the air for a heartbeat, and descended again. Every impact sent a pulse of colour racing across the circular horizon. It was a rhythm of perfect soft consistency. Then the sky tore open. A jagged obsidian fissure split the firmament, emitting a low discordant hum that rattled the soft ground beneath him. Boinky stopped his bounce. He tilted his spherical body, sensing the unnatural vibration. The hum grew into a roar as the crack widened, swirling into a hungry, dark vortex. The ground beneath him lost its stability. He felt the pull first in his core, a sudden violent drag that defied the laws of his home. He tried to roll away, but the suction intensified. He spun, his internal glow flickering as the light of his world dimmed against the encroaching shadow. The vortex snapped shut. Boinky vanished, leaving behind only a fading ripple of light on the ground where he had just been playing. The sky sealed itself, leaving the neon world silent and empty. Boinky hit the ground with a heavy, unyielding thud. There was no ripple, no light, only the sharp sting of cold stone against his surface. He was no longer on soft ground. The horizon was a nightmare of geometry, where mountains rose like serrated blades and buildings were topped with lethal iron spikes. He tried to hop, but the air felt heavy, pressing down on him. Triangular figures with metallic limbs marched past, their movements stiff and rhythmic. Boinky rolled toward a wall, spotting a metal sign bolted to the stone. It read, "Bouncing Forbidden," in jagged black letters. A guard approached his body, a collection of sharp angles, his helmet tipped with a long, thin spear. The guard stopped, his gaze locking onto the glowing sphere. He raised a whistle to his mouth, and a shrill, piercing sound tore through the silence. Boinky panicked. He attempted a small hop, but his momentum carried him toward a wall bristling with iron spikes. He veered away at the last second, skidding across the flat floor. He dove into a dark, narrow alleyway, squeezing his body between razor-sharp corners. He was trapped in a world that wanted to pierce his very existence. Boinky pushed through the labyrinth, his glow dimming to a faint pulse to avoid detection. He found a loose stone slab at the end of a dead-end street and shoved it aside. A dark, narrow shaft opened beneath him. He tumbled down, landing in a cavern thick with stagnant, heavy air. The space was crowded with dozens of round creatures, but they were shadows of their former selves. Their bodies were deflated, wrinkled, and grey, huddled in the damp corners. They did not move as he landed. They only stared with wide, hollow eyes. Boinky expanded his light, pushing back the gloom. The cave erupted in a soft, golden radiance. The creatures gasped, shielding their eyes. A small round girl, her skin sagging and dull, crawled forward. She reached out a trembling hand, brushing her fingers against Boinky's firm, elastic surface. Her eyes widened as she felt the warmth of his vitality. For a second, the fear in the room vanished. Then the ceiling groaned. Dust rained down as the entrance shattered. A towering figure of obsidian triangles blocked the light. The sharp-edged king loomed over them, flanked by his armored soldiers. He raised a massive flat metal slab. The king brought the massive metal slab down with lethal intent. Boinky saw the flat, cold surface descending, a guillotine of iron meant to snuff out his light. He closed his eyes, pulling every ounce of his inner elasticity inward. He felt felt his core tighten, compressing his energy into a single dense point of potential. As the slab neared, he did not retreat. He slammed his body into the stone floor with explosive force. The impact was not a thud, but a thunderous release. A massive shockwave ripped outward, vibrating through the cavern walls with the intensity of a heartbeat. The stone floor cracked beneath him, spiderwebbing in every direction. The vibration traveled upward, tearing through the ceiling and shaking the very foundations of the city above. The king stumbled, his grip failing, as the ground beneath his feet began to soften. The shockwave hit the huddled grey creatures. As the pulse washed over them, their skins smoothed and began to glow. They puffed up, their bodies regaining their natural rounded forms. The air in the cave grew warm and fluid. The rigid, jagged walls of the cavern began to melt, curving into soft, welcoming shapes. The oppressive weight of the king's presence vanished, replaced by the rhythmic pulse of Boinky's expanding light. The revolution had begun from the ground up. The transformation swept through the city like a rising tide. Jagged mountains crumbled into gentle rolling hills. Spikes retracted into buildings, leaving behind smooth, curved surfaces. The angular soldiers watched in confusion as their own limbs softened. The sharp-edged king stood still, staring at his hands. The obsidian triangles of his body curved, the sharp edges melting away. A genuine smile spread across his face, replacing his cold, rigid expression. Boinky leaped from the cavern, his surface radiant and firm. He bounced freely through the streets, his rhythm setting the pace. Above, a vibrant rainbow arched across the sky, casting a warm light